Welcome to another match preview where we look ahead to one of our Essex trips for the season, and the Stones have their first Monday night football of the season too, on the road at Aveley. So a very quick turnaround this weekend, as you can probably tell from my radio get-up. We've just sat through the Slough match down there this afternoon, moments ago. Your thoughts on that result and performance briefly, Nigel?
Yeah, disappointing, wasn't it, again, not to pick up the 3 points. I mean, we had enough chances to win 2 or 3 games there, I think, and it was like a heavyweight boxing contest, wasn't it? Slough on the ropes at times, and we just couldn't deliver that knockout blow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I say it's disappointing there. But again, it's just like we look so dominant and so in control, and then it just comes from a bit of not bad luck, because obviously you make your own luck, don't you? But we just didn't pick up. We missed pass from Trusty in the middle of the park, and we just never recovered. We was coming back from a free kick of our own, so we just never recovered on that. And then again, Alexis on the line just let that one spin underneath him. So yeah, it's disappointing, isn't it? It's because you look at the league table and you look at it, it's so congested in that middle of the pack, and we're playing well enough now to really be able to climb that table. And as we're going to talk about the Aveley game again, it's another one that against an opponent that we generally struggle against in the league season. So, but it would have been nice to get 6 points on the board, wouldn't it? And then just really put the pressure on those playoff places before the rest of the teams play on Tuesday evening. Yeah. But it's a point in the right direction. It's not a defeat, is it? So it's another one to our tally. That's 7 unbeaten now.
Yes.
So again, it's just frustrating at times when watching it, isn't it? Because you can see the talent there. It's far superior at times. Some of the play was brilliant from Maidstone.
It's just those little moments, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean the build-up play, and there was a passage of play there where good interchange of passes between Benson, Fowler, Seaman. They're all interacting. You can see those patterns of play are really starting to come to fruition now. But again, just that little bit of bite. Do you know what I mean? That little bit of luck to go our way. Again on the wrong end of another few sort of iffy, shall we say, refereeing decisions. And that's the result of it. So hopefully, as we go into this Monday night, we can manage that quick turnaround, and get a win on the board, because generally our away form this season has been pretty good, hasn't it?
That is the one crumb of comfort indeed for us after today's result. So as Denise Williams nearly once said, let's hear it for the goalies. Kerry Blowdorn, no, not a fan. Kerry Blowdorn, he signed his first professional contract for Tottenham Hotspur back in May of this year. He's a 6'6" goalie, ever present for the Spurs under-18 side throughout last season. And Jack West is an Aussie, formerly of the Daggers and Chelmsford. So, Nigel, not much league experience for either goalie, and they have let in the 4th most goals this season in the division, and no clean sheet, including today's game against Enfield.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. So, we know, we've said it before, haven't we? It's a difficult place to go on Aveley. They kind of make the most of that sort of quick turnaround, because they kind of have their ground on a Tuesday. Last year they picked up a lot of points at home because teams were tired after the exhaustions of the Saturday game. So hopefully George has managed that well. He didn't bring Reece Brennan straight back in. He did bring him on towards the end of the Slough game. So yeah, he sort of rested players like John Benton and Papadopoulos came off. So hopefully we've managed that turnaround, and we can with our daytime training we can just have maybe a light session on Monday, just to sort of like go through a few tactical stuff, and hopefully we'll be ready this time, because we know what to expect now. Like last year we went there, it was the unknown, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We'd never been there before. It was between the FA Cup games, as we said, and we literally definitely had one mind on that. But I don't think that's the case now. It's literally we've got to go there and really get the result.
So in defence, Harry Beadle, when he was about at Braintree Town, he scored against us at the start of last season. Ryan Bernal is an attack-minded fullback who joined in July after he impressed on trial throughout pre-season. Nathan Carlisle has played for QPR, Concord, Weymouth, St Albans City, Hemel, Havant and Waterlooville before signing for Aveley in the summer. He has managed to avoid playing in any game where Aveley have scored any points this season. That was before Enfield, so he might well have played today and got that monkey off his back. Although we'd hope his run of bad luck continues on Monday, frankly, but we'll see. Brooklyn Kabongolo signed a fortnight ago. He rose through the youth ranks at Ipswich Town before playing for Billericay, Southend United and Oxford City, all three clubs last season. Alex Kapakpa is a former Chelsea youth defender. Jason Ring joined the Millers in 2020 and has made over 100 appearances for them. And Nigel, you know, with the Stones, do you think they'll need to watch out for Beadle and Co at the back on Monday?
Yeah, they definitely will. I mean, again, it's that Maidstone syndrome, isn't it? We're going to go there with the names on our backs and targets on our backs. Everyone wants to beat Maidstone. You saw that in the Slough game, didn't you? You know, the Slough definitely came for a draw, and they achieved that result. So in that respect, for Aveley, that's going to be even more of a carrot, isn't it? They've got a few ex-players of ours. Razak is obviously there still, and as we'll come on to, but John Benton's going back there for the first time,
Yes.
I believe. It was obviously, he started last season at Aveley, so you know they're fighting for their lives, aren't they? You know, it's that classic second season syndrome. You know, every point is a. You know, this time last year they was flying high up in the playoff places, and everybody said they would drop out of it, and they just managed to carry on that momentum. But they have lost a few of their key players. I know a couple of went to Slough. Obviously, we talked about John Benton going off to Solihull. But yeah, they seem to have got that recruitment right. Do you know what I mean? They get a lot of the local players that from the local teams, like we said before, these teams, and get a few loans from the Football League teams in and around them. It's just gelling them all together, isn't it? So you would hope that, you know, they would just maybe take a little bit longer to gel. So.
At least another game, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's like all these young players that they come on to, and you know, the expectations there to perform, isn't it? So, you know, it might be difficult to get yourself up for playing. Again, no disrespect to some of the other times, but if you're playing Hemel Hempstead at home on a Monday night, it's not the same as playing Maidstone at home. You're going to get yourself up, isn't it? It's a big game. We can take a big away following. It's not that far to go. If you just over the bridge, turn left, isn't it, and you're there. So, yeah, it's again, it's still all about what we can do. I'm just, you know, you just got to just put our own game, put our own stamp on the game, haven't we? And just literally try and get 2 goals and then try and see the game out. It's about game management again, isn't it? So,
as we've seen already this afternoon here, indeed. So their midfield consists of Kenny Aleru, one of their standout players. He scored the key goal at the end of last season that got them their playoff spot. Luke Allen started his career at Spurs before playing for a number of National League and National League South sides, including a very long spell with Dartford. Josh Anifawose is a young central midfielder who began his career in the youth ranks at Fulham. I think he scored today against Enfield as well, from memory. Before spending last season at Dover Athletic and Hampton and Richmond Borough. He made 36 appearances and scored 4 times last season. Cian Cocking is a youth player yet to feature this season, again prior to the Enfield game. Razak Coleman de Graft, as we've talked about before, he made 18 appearances for the Millers last season. Most memorable of those came against us back in February, where he scored a stunning solo goal in that win. Ikeche Eze joined the Millers in November last year, having previously played for Hampton and Richmond and Braintree Town, amongst others in England, as well as spending time in Bulgaria and Scotland. Similar beaches, apparently. David Kawa, formerly of Peterborough, Sevenoaks, AFC Wimbledon and Reading, scored twice in 5 days last month against Dorking and Chesham in their win and their stoppage time defeat. Adam Leathers, a great name for a man who kicks a football, something from Roy of the Rovers, frankly. He started his career coming through the Leicester City Academy, before time at Wickham, Hampton and Richmond, Dulwich Hamlet, Maidenhead and Billericay, before he joined the Millers this summer. Manny Ogunrinda joined in 2020 from Grays Athletic, and he of course scored the goal that put them ahead here, down there at Maidstone in the National South Playoff Eliminator, before we got the best of them 2-1. Tyrese Owen joined from Worthing early this season, and Hamza Semakula joined the Millers this summer from Hendon. So Nigel, Stone should be well aware of a few of these players from last season for one reason or another.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've got a few names there, haven't they? You know, running off those names, and it's be interesting to see how they play. But yeah, they're just. I don't want to be disrespectful, but they are tryers. You know what I mean? They're never going to set the league light, but you know, like we've said, they're fighting for their lives, and they've got players of that sort of calibre. That little bit of experience there, and players like Luke Allen, and then you've got Razak. You know, it didn't work out here, but he was identified as a talent, and you know, on his day, he you know, as he proved against us, obviously he had a bit to prove in that game last season, but you know. But for circumstances, might have been the hero of the FA Cup game like Lamar was. You know, it's just the way football goes. And if he's got that sort of a fire in his belly to do well against us, you know that he can do it. So you've just got to be on your mettle and just prepare properly.
So up front, Ibia Canby appears in the latest edition of Former Stone Plays the Stones. It's his 9th club now since leaving us 4 years ago. He was at the C word last month when you know what happened. Alex Hernandez joined from Concord Rangers in July last year. He was a player from that FA Trophy final where he was led out by his current manager, who was his then manager, Danny Scopes. I think that makes sense. Luke Holness started his playing career in the youth ranks of Fulham and Crystal Palace before ending up at Welling United in January of this year before a summer switch to the Millers. Charlie Hughes joined ahead of last season, scored 14 in 48 all told. He got a hat-trick against his former club Hemel Hempstead Town, as well as goals in both league games against the Stones. So Nigel, yet more familiar faces on show up top, and a history of goals for and against the Stones there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've got the goals there, haven't they? And they've retained, although we said they've lost a few of their players, they've still got like Luke Holness and Charlie Hughes and that there, you know, and it'd be a Canberra again like Razak. We said, you know, we've seen it here. I remember he got that double at having it in Waterlooville way during the lockdown season, and you know, he scored a brace I think against Dorking in that season before lockdown. So you know, all these players, you know, you give them, you can't underestimate them. You know, they're all players that know the level, that have been at this level, and you know, on any given day they can turn up and put the ball in the back of the net. Yeah. So it's going to be another one for the defence to just sort of like, you know, like all the games, you've just got to be on our mettle and just cut out the silly mistakes and just, you know, game manage it. You know, if we can make it as hard or as difficult or as easy as we want to. If you go out there and you get an early goal, let them do the chasing, let them do the running, let them do the closing down. You know, we've got to manage that game, and you know, we can. I'm sure we can get a result. You know, the players walked off there after the Slough game very disappointed. You know, they know they've put the effort in, and they know they should have won the game. So,
but they have that game right around the corner
exactly,
to put things
exactly,
right.
Exactly that. So that quick turnaround, and they know as well that, you know, win on Monday night, you're only 3 points off the playoffs.
Exactly.
You know, we are sort of. We're now part of the season where teams have played more games than us as well. So although they will all play on Tuesday night, you've still got that game in hand, but it's just putting that pressure on the teams that are in and around you.
So the form of Aveley, they are still in the bottom four. Only one win in all competitions this season before this afternoon. That was a home win against Dorking. They had lost 5 in a row before they went to Enfield Town and won 4-2 in what was a classic 6-pointer. So a second competitive win this season now for them. So Nigel, what odds on a third competitive win for Aveley on Monday night?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't imagine the odds are that great for them. I mean, we said about our away form, and our away form is good. I think, you know, before Saturday's game, we was, I think, 4th or 3rd in the away league the table, so that's pretty good form on the road, and that's probably what's keeping us in contention. Yeah. So again, you know, we are sort of playing away in them big games, and when we're away from home, we do seem to step it up and put in a performance. So, you know, if I had to give you odds, I wouldn't give you very good odds on an Aveley win, but
I won't buy then. Fine.
Yeah, but I you know, I'll give you good odds on a Maidstone win, but then obviously I'm biased. But you know, I think if I was a betting man, I would definitely say that the results in the odds are in Maidstone's favour. It's just going out there and putting in the performance, isn't it?
Fingers crossed, the usual from me. So in the head-to-head stakes, 3 wins each over the last 15 years or so. 3 meetings last season. Aveley did the league double over the Stones during the season, but that memorable midweek playoff quarter-final, we pretty much viewed it from around here actually, didn't we? More than made up for those 2 league defeats earlier on in the season, Nigel, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly. It's just a shame we couldn't go and finish the job against Worthing, but you know, as a performance, we put in a solid performance, and on the evening we left it late, but we did deserve the win. So yeah, you know, hopefully we can it's just about getting those patterns right, getting that you know, confidence in the team. And I think after the last few results, we have got that confidence in the team. So again, it's just, as I say, it's just going out there and putting the points on the board at this stage of the season, and just really just keep on the coattails of the teams at the top half of the table, and then, you know, really strike come the turn of the year.
So if you can't make it to the game on Monday night, as we've already mentioned, a relatively short trip over the bridge and through the tunnel, vice versa, do please tune in to us too on Stones Live. We'll be on the hot take, and you'll hear us on the highlights a few hours after the game. And yeah, I think we're about 95% confident Aveley are letting us in, so we're planning to be there, aren't we, Nige? So
we are indeed.
All fingers crossed for that. So we'll see you at 7:30 on Monday. So the Stones now 7 unbeaten after the result against Slough, and with that sort of form behind them, avenging the last main league meeting between ourselves and Aveley 1 week before Coventry, like we had back then, it could be a possibility of avenging them. Here's hoping that's the case at least. So thanks as always for watching the latest preview. Very much haberdashery edition, but we've got to fit all this stuff in with these quick turnarounds we've got, and Lord knows November's going to be just as fun with games pretty much every few days coming up, but we'll be here, weather permitting and everything else permitting. Like and subscribe. See you for our next preview for Hemel Hempstead. And as always,
come on, you Stones!